Imagine two sisters bound by blood, not just in life, but in the darkest crime imaginable. Their names would become a whisper of terror across a quiet city. A story that still chills investigators decades later. They didn't simply break the law. They shattered every bond of trust, every meaning of family. How could two women, seemingly ordinary, transform into something so monstrous? And why did no one see the warning signs until it was far too late? This is not just another crime story. It's the tale of the most evil sisters in history. Don't miss out on the next chilling mystery. Hit subscribe and tap the bell icon so you're the first to know when new stories drop. At first glance, nothing about the sisters seemed unusual. They were raised in a modest home on the edge of town, a quiet neighborhood where everyone knew each other, and nothing ever seemed out of place. To neighbors, they were polite young women, always seen walking together, speaking in hushed voices, rarely apart. Some admired their closeness, a bond that appeared unbreakable. But behind closed doors, cracks in that bond were beginning to show. Their childhood had been marked by a strict household and whispers of family disputes that never reached the street. The sisters often withdrew from the outside world, shutting themselves away for hours in their dimly lit home. Those who caught a glimpse through the curtains claimed to see arguments, shadows moving sharply, voices raised and then cut short. Yet, they still presented themselves as ordinary. One worked a small job in the city, the other stayed closer to home. Often seen in the market, nothing suggested the darkness that would soon emerge. Still, there were unsettling details, an unease that people couldn't quite explain. A neighbor recalled how their smiles never reached their eyes. Another mentioned the way they watched people, as if studying them, weighing them. It would take time for the facade to crumble, but the seeds of suspicion were already there. And when the sisters finally acted, the world would see just how dangerous their bond had become. The first signs that something was terribly wrong came quietly. It began with disappearances, small, almost forgettable at first. A pet vanishing from a neighbor's yard. A delivery left at the sisters' doorstep that was never acknowledged. Then, whispers spread of people last seen near their house who never returned. The authorities had little to go on. The sisters kept to themselves, and their polite but guarded demeanor left investigators with nothing concrete. Still, patterns began to form. A shopkeeper remembered seeing them together late at night, buying supplies in bulk, whispering to each other with an intensity that felt unsettling. Another recalled how they always left quickly, avoiding eye contact, as though hiding something. Inside the home, strange details came to light. Neighbors sometimes noticed the flicker of lights at odd hours, shadows moving past curtained windows long after midnight. The sound of furniture scraping, muffled thuds, and then silence. People tried to dismiss it. Every family has its secrets, but unease hung over the street like a storm waiting to break. One evening, a local officer responded to a noise complaint. What he found unsettled him. The sisters opened the door together, their faces calm, their words rehearsed. They claimed it was nothing but an accident, a broken vase. But the officer couldn't shake the feeling of cold air rushing from inside the house. Or the way their eyes followed him as he left, synchronized, unblinking, almost rehearsed. The tension mounted when a missing person case tied directly to the neighborhood. Search parties swept the nearby wood. Detectives began piecing together timelines. Each disappearance seemed to circle back to nights when the sisters were seen together. Alone, neither of them seemed suspicious. But together, their movements painted a chilling picture of coordination, secrecy, and intent. And yet, no hard evidence surfaced. It was as if they moved in shadows, leaving no trace but the growing sense of dread. To the outside world, they were still ordinary. But to those who dared look closer, a truth was becoming harder to ignore. Something inside that house was deeply, dangerously wrong. The truth finally emerged in a way no one could have predicted. When investigators secured a warrant to search the sisters' home, what they found transformed suspicion into horror. The house, ordinary from the outside, was a labyrinth of secrets within. Rooms had been rearranged, furniture pushed against doors, windows sealed shut. And in the basement, beneath the creaking floorboards, investigators uncovered the evidence they had been chasing for months. It wasn't just one victim. It was many. Carefully hidden traces, personal belongings, scraps of clothing, items linked directly to the missing, were all there, concealed in boxes, drawers, even behind false walls. The sisters had been working together all along, covering for each other with precision that made them almost untouchable. But the most disturbing revelation wasn't simply what they had done. It was how much they relished it. Journals recovered from the home revealed chilling writings, describing not only the acts themselves, but the sense of power they felt when no one suspected them. They didn't see themselves as criminals, but as partners, bound by blood and bound by darkness. The facade of ordinary women, neighbors, daughters, it all shattered in a single night. For detectives, the revelation explained years of disappearances and fear. For the community, it was a betrayal too heavy to bear. Two sisters who had walked the same streets and smiled the same hollow smiles had been predators hiding in plain sight. The mask was gone. The sisters' evil was undeniable, and the world would never see them the same again. Today, the sisters remain locked away, serving life sentences in separate prisons. The bond that once made them inseparable was torn apart by the very system they defied. Each day passes in silence, their only connection now the whispered memory of crimes they once committed together. One is said to have withdrawn completely, refusing interviews, staring blankly at walls. The other, however, has written letters, cryptic messages that reveal little but suggest she still clings to the bond they once shared. For the community they left behind, the scars remain. The house where so many secrets were uncovered sits abandoned, windows boarded, its silence heavier than words. Some residents avoid walking past it, as though even the walls still hold the weight of what was discovered inside. Families of the missing still gather at graveyards, laying flowers where closure never truly came. For them, the sisters' imprisonment is justice but not healing. Questions linger, haunting those who knew the case best. Did investigators uncover everything? Or are their victims never accounted for? Were the sisters truly equal partners in their crimes? Or was one the manipulator and the other the follower? With both women refusing to fully confess, those answers may never come. And so, the story lives on, not just as a chilling memory of two women who turned against the world, but as an unsettling reminder. Sometimes, the people we trust the most, family, even sisters, can be capable of the unimaginable. Evil rarely announces itself loudly. Sometimes it hides behind familiar faces, ordinary routines, and the illusion of family bonds. That's what makes the story of these sisters so chilling. Not only the cruelty of their crimes, but the silence that surrounded them for so long. Neighbors walked the same streets, shared polite greetings, never suspecting the darkness waiting behind closed doors. Even today, the sisters' legacy lingers like a shadow. Their prison cells may keep them confined, but their story escapes those walls, retold in whispers, books, and late-night conversations. They remind us of the fragility of trust, of how quickly love and loyalty can twist into something monstrous. The haunting truth is this: evil doesn't always look like a stranger lurking in the dark. Sometimes it looks like the people closest to us, the ones we would never think to fear. So the question remains, if blood ties couldn't stop them from becoming killers, what else might family hide in plain sight? With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.